Hello, everyone, and welcome to another episode of Out of the Fog. I'm your host, Laurabel Mba. On today's episode, I get to chat with the team from AMAL United Empower. They're a wonderful organization working to support newcomers and employers and build that bridge of connection. So sit back, relax, and we'll get right to the show. Welcome back, everyone. I'm now joined by Maryna Ponomarchuk, who is the Employer Engagement Coordinator at AMAL Unite Empower, which is an organization here in our province. Maryna, thank you so much for joining me.
Thank you, Laurabel, for having me here today.
I'm so excited to have you. So for our viewers who don't really know what AMAL is, can you let them know a little bit about your role specifically?
Yeah, absolutely. So I would like to start a little bit with the general overview of our program, what we are doing, and then I will come back to my role.
Okay.
So we are a part of the AMAL Youth and Family Center, which is a non-profit organization which have been operating here in the province since 2020.
Okay.
But our specific part of the organization, AMAL Unite and Empower, it is an employment program, which is specifically focused on the developing the diverse, inclusive, and thriving workforce here in the province, with engaging the newcomers and new Canadians to this workforce.
Okay, so that's a really cool role. That's a really cool thing for your organization to be doing, especially considering you started as like a family and youth wellness community and then stemmed off into doing employment relations, which usually happens in reverse. So you guys did it a cool new way. So what is your role specifically within that scope of work?
So my particular role is kind of a bridge between the participants of our programs who are newcomers to the province and employers. The industry, which is hiring and which is looking for the
workers and
for the workers and workforce.
So let's say for right now, people are watching our show and their employers watching our show.
Right.
What can they expect if they ever reached out to AMAL and kind of the work you would do to support them?
So to begin with, our services are completely free for everyone. So as a nonprofit, we do not charge nor new Canadians nor employers. And we do provide the holistic wraparound support to our participants in the program, as well as to the employer who would like to collaborate with us. From the side of the participants, we usually provide the employment navigation, which includes the resumes and cover letters and industry navigation, etc. From the side of the employers, we provide the screening services. We do have a huge pool of the participants in our program, which means that we do have a diverse experienced individuals in a very different fields, starting from entry-level jobs to very high-skilled and niche professions like mechanic engineering or naval engineering, with some people with PhD, etc. So out of that pool, for the employers, we provide the screening and matching services. So if, let's say, an employer has the position opened and they are coming to us with that position, we can provide the services of matching and sharing some resumes and profiles, which would be really best fit from our perspective. The other part of our support to the employers is the post-employment support. Once they're hiring one of our participants, we are assisting with the HR onboarding, with culture trainings, one-on-one culture trainings if that is necessary, with other post-employment support, which might sometimes even include the translation if the individual needs more assistance with the English level, with the English language. And within our team, we speak like 8 different languages.
So you're fully covered.
So we are covered with that, but also sometimes even if you do not have the particular skill set in our pool, we are trying to collaborate really closely with the other community members and groups to find the best matches for those employers.
So for people who are watching who are interested in being part of this program, from a participant point of view, why would they reach out to AMAL?
Okay, so as I mentioned in one of my previous questions, we are trying to provide the holistic wraparound support which help people to be successful in finding their meaningful employment, and we are trying to minimize the barriers which people who are coming to the province facing while trying to land the job. So among those barriers might be something like transportation, assistance with the English, assistance with the other community resources needs, where we are sharing that with them. So although our program, within our program, we cannot give the promises that we will find you a job, because our main goal is to empower people with the resources, with the access to the community resources, with the understanding how everything works here, and after that we are trying to manage them, but still it is up to the employer to make the final decision.
Maryna, we could get so in-depth into the conversation about the level of work that you do. And I know we get the chance to talk to a couple of your other colleagues. So I want to thank you for taking the time to explain what your specific role is and how people can get in contact and what supports you provide. So if people are interested in reaching out to AMAL, how do they get a hold of you?
So we do have a specific process. When the person is filling the form, we have the several people in our team who are assisting them from the very beginning, understanding their needs and assisting with the starting of the employment search. And after that, they are coming to my side when we are doing the matches, when we are sharing the job boards, when we are putting people into the connector program, which is another great part of our program.
So Maryna, if people right now are watching and they want to figure out how to get in contact, what's the best place for them to go?
So the best place for them to go to our website, which is amalnl.ca, and there they will find a few forms which they can fill and reach out about the questions they have.
Well, thank you so much. I know we get to talk to a little bit more to your coworkers, so I can't wait to find out what they have to share about the work they're doing. Thank you for joining me.
Thank you so much, Laurabel, and yeah.
All right, we'll be right back, folks. Sit tight. Welcome back, folks. I'm now joined by Maude, who is the Employment Support Facilitator, transitioning into Wellness Coordinator. Maude, thank you for joining me.
Thank you for having me.
So let's talk a little bit about your current role as Employment Support Facilitator, and then we'll chat more about this new funding that sets up for your new role, if that's okay. So what exactly do you do as an Employment Support Facilitator?
So currently, I am doing a lot of initial intake. So we receive funding at the end of last year, which allowed us to hire two more staff, and one of them is the intake coordinator. But now I'm like you mentioned, I'm in transition to a new role, and we revamped the program. So I'm supporting her with the initial intake. So the initial intake is the first point of contact for participant that join our program. So I'm doing a little bit like an interview with them. informal interview just to get to know their personal life and professional life, because we truly believe that an individual is not just an employee, but a person who has needs that can impact their employment.
Okay.
So I'm currently doing that right now.
So basically, before they get to working with Maryna, you are one of their first points of contact for people who reach out. Okay, that explains a little bit of the chain reaction of how people get there. So when people reach out, they fill out the intake form, they get to meet with you and do a little bit of an interview to support who they are as people, but what their goals are.
Yeah.
When you're doing these interviews, what are the kind of things that a lot of people are showing up with?
Well, the first thing is I need a job. I want a job. A lot of people, it depends on everybody. Some people are looking for a part-time job because they have dependents. It could be kids, could be their parents, anybody. Other people are looking for a full-time job because they just graduated from MUN, for example, and they want to start a career. Other people just want to find a full-time job to be able to meet their needs. So it really depends on everybody. But the main thing that people are coming for is for employment.
Okay. So you're now transitioning into a role of wellness coordinator. What does that mean for AMAL?
So, I mean, for our program, so this funding will be for AMAL Unite and Empower.
Okay.
What it means is we will be able to support our participant with their well-being.
Okay.
Well-being is not just mental health, is also, and I'm a strong advocate for that, is a sense of belonging, building a community. I strongly believe that if you move to a new place and you don't have a community, there's high chance for you to move away.
Absolutely.
Because we need a community. We need to feel that we are supported from with other people. So that this funding will allow us to do that. Also, we want to use an approach that is quite different.
Okay.
So we're going to use a lot of nature-based programming, art-based programming as well. It could be music, it could be art on its own, dancing. So we're going to explore all that. We want to offer alternative form of, I don't want to necessarily call that therapy, but therapeutic activity, I guess, while providing group support where people can meet with other people, talk about their challenges, and I like to use peer support as well. There's strong value in that.
Yeah.
I am not a newcomer. I live in another province, so I did experience some cultural difference, but I don't feel I have as strong of a say compared to a peer support who went through the whole immigration process. So we're going to do a lot of that as well.
Okay. So for participants who are in the programs currently through the employment support, would they be able to avail of this wellness program, or would that be reserved for just anyone else joining it?
Yeah, it will be for anybody in our program, but also we're going to open up for our community members. So, for example, we have partners that serve newcomers as well, or any other people that we're going to probably promote it in their organization, and anybody in the community that think they can benefit from it. Because, again, to go back to the community feeling, you want to connect with locals.
Yes.
You want to know the culture, the local culture, but also it's important for the locals to know the culture of the newcomers as well. And this is where we're reducing racism and inclusivity, well, increasing inclusivity and diversity in our community.
Okay, so that's fantastic. So for people who are listening and watching who are like, I want to come when it starts, but I'm a little bit nervous and I'm a little bit scared.
Yeah.
What would you like to tell them to kind of help dissuade those feelings that they might have?
Don't be scared. It's going to be a really welcoming place. I want people to feel comfortable, feel that they belong there. I'm going to make sure to have peer support that went through that same feeling that will make people feel at home there, welcome, whatever the challenge is. And if they're a little bit nervous, they can always reach out to us. We have a general email. They can just email there, said that they saw me on TV, and I can connect with them directly, and we can have a phone call or in-person meeting if they just want to talk to me and understand better.
Perfect. So when is this program supposed to be starting so people can have mark it on their calendar and have their save the dates?
So if everything goes well with the funding, we should receive it at the beginning of April.
Okay. So for people who are watching and listening right now who have not yet become part of the program and are curious about how to get started, what would you like them to know about how they reach out and what to reach out for?
So as of right now, the best way to reach out to us would be to connect with our general email, which is newcomeremployment@amalnl.ca, and our administration person will be able to reply to your email. You can show your interest. It could be interest in our community service too.
Yeah.
I would like to mention that we have a lot of events coming up on Eventbrite that are totally free.
Okay.
So if you just want to be a part of that community, feel free to visit the Eventbrite, but also send us an email if you want to have more detail about what we provide in terms of services.
Perfect. I think this is fantastic that you're doing all this work, and I love the way that you're approaching it from a holistic version. So not only are they getting employment support, they're getting all the needed community networks in order to find themselves at home in this new province. So thank you so much for all the work that you're doing.
My pleasure. Thank you for having me.
All right, folks, we'll be right back, and we're still talking to guests from AMAL, so sit back, relax, and we'll see you soon. Welcome back, folks. We're joined by our final guest from the AMAL United Empower, and I now get to talk to Chris Morrison, who is the Employer Relationship Coordinator. Chris, thank you for joining me.
Yes, thank you for having me.
So we've talked to a few of your colleagues. We've talked about the supporting people who are interested in joining the programs in terms of the participant and people looking for employment. We've talked about supporting them from a holistic point of view with employment as well as wellness. Now, employers, the people who have to be on the other end of this whole thing. What's going on there? What's the work you're doing to support facilitating that relationship?
Yeah, so I guess kind of the first thing that I could say about it is, Newfoundland is experiencing, the most immigration, that it's seen. There are so many skilled newcomers who are coming to the province. They're ready to work. They are excited to work. They want to join the workforce. And at the same time, employers in the province are having issues. We know that, there's an aging population in Newfoundland. We know that there are labor shortages across the board with different industries, but even healthcare, manufacturing, technology, there are shortages there. So there's another issue too, where the local workforce isn't always able, to support these industries to come in and fill the gaps, and it's even more of a concern when it comes to rural parts of the province. Their employers need even more support. So the thing for me and the thing for us on kind of the industry side of the program is to really be working to bridge the gap between the newcomers here in the province who are looking for opportunities. They're skilled, they're experienced, and bridging the gap with industry, with employers who are really looking to fill those talent areas. So the big thing for me is bridging those, of course. from kind of a perspective of what our program does for that, we work directly with employers, and when it's newcomers, we have tailored support. When it's employers, it's exactly the same thing. It's tailored support. So we pre-screen talent, and we match them with positions for employers, and we're really trying to really see what the employer needs, whether it's additional onboarding support. It could be anything that falls into cultural training, that sort of thing. So it's a holistic approach where really we bridge newcomers with employers, and it's all at no cost to employers.
So you have this really cool program that's part of all the work that you folks are doing called the Connector Program.
Yeah.
What exactly does that do?
Yeah, so the Connector Program is a national program. I think it's in 32 communities across the country. And so AMAL United in Power, we are the host organization here in Newfoundland. So it is a networking program, and it's really for professional networking. So when kind of an issue that we were seeing when people move to Newfoundland, when people are trying to establish careers here, a huge barrier to that is your professional network, and that can really impact retention. People move to the province, and then they secure a position, and then they really need to be developing professional networks to be inclined to stay here and to continue to work here. So the Connector Program is really addressing that. So really what it is, we have connectors who are industry professionals, and they match with connectees who are people in our program. So we pair them up based on where you want to work or what industry you want to be in, and then the connectors act as essentially kind of guides through the networking process to help people break into industry-specific networking opportunities.
So that's really awesome to see that such a program exists. On an employer point of view, what are some of the specifics of how you support them that makes this worthwhile for them to engage with AMAL?
Yeah, so a huge thing right off the bat is it's completely free. So it's if you post a job and you're going through applications, you're sorting through everything. We've like right off the bat, we take that step out of it. So we're matching credentials, we're matching experience, and we're pre-screened right off the bat. The second thing is when it comes to, because employers here, many employers want to have diverse talent, but not all employers have, maybe there's questions about cultural sensitivity. Maybe there's some barriers that they're facing that are impeding them hiring diverse talent. So we really offer as much as we can, and it's tailored support to onboarding, to any way that we can help with cultural support as well for employers. That's a big piece. But then a huge piece is industry here, when they're hiring candidates, they also want candidates to stay. And, candidates want to see, advancement opportunities. They're looking for meaningful employment. And for employers, it's the retention side of things. So the Connector Program is incredible for, working to improve retention through that networking, through developing the professional network. And then we also have, as Maryna and Maude spoke about too, we have other initiatives that just help individuals build community here. And again, like having a community, being part of Newfoundland and being part of the culture is a big part to wanting to stay here, and because ultimately it helps grow the economy too.
So you probably have no endless stream of people who are looking to participate on the participant end in terms of people looking for employment.
Yep.
For employers who haven't quite gotten there, who aren't yet enrolled in your program, what would you like them to know about why this is the right next step for them to take in order to increase the diversity and the level of inclusion they're having within their workspaces?
Yeah, like the biggest thing is there is a talent shortage here, and it's getting worse. Having newcomers hired is what our economy needs. It's going to grow our communities. It's going to grow industry across sectors, and it's the step that we need to take. We don't have the workforce here, so it's very important that employers say, this is the direction that things are already going. We need to be part of that, And it's 2025. It's definitely time to be looking at that for the province.
So for employers who are now watching and listening and are like, okay, I'm ready to opt in. I think I'm ready for the first step. How do they take that first step?
Yeah, absolutely. Just wave to me. I'll find you. No. So for us, you go to our website. You go to amalnl.ca. And on the website, there's a form there where you can sign up as an industry participant, and then it'll come to me. We'll have that onboarding process. We'll see like what their needs are. Whether it's looking for talent right now or whether it's in the future and just kind of starting to get acquainted with our services and what we can do. Either way, it's completely tailored to them. So it's just really taking that first step. We'll have that conversation, figure out what they need, and then start supporting them.
Chris, it's been an absolute pleasure getting to chat with you. I want to thank you so much for taking the time
thank
today.
you.
All right, folks, we'll be right back. I want to thank all of you for tuning in yet again. If you have taken anything from our show and you're interested in connecting with AMAL, make sure to check out their website. I also want to give a very special thank you to our guests for joining me. It's always a pleasure to share time and space with you all, and I'll catch you all next time.
This program is brought to you by Rogers Xfinity, connecting you to more of what you love. Visit Rogers.com for more details.
We want to hear from you. Provide feedback on this show or find out how you can get involved. Call, email us, or scan the QR code to take our quick survey.
After a night out with your friends, there's always options for getting home safely. You could call your BFF, your mom or dad, whoever you can count on for a safe ride home. You could call your favorite cab company or 1-888 taxi guy. Or you could use the Arrival Live smartphone app to help you choose your ride. Be it a friend, transit, or taxi, getting home safely is app easy. Now available for iOS and Android devices. Visit arrivallive.org to find out more. Arrival Live. Drive sober.
Heartbeat of Mother Earth, I feel you and embrace your warmth. I see you dancing through the trees. Your song floats on the summer breeze. Community, we come together. We are the voice of our ancestors. Thankful for how much you bless us. Feel the thunder in the drum. All our voices sing as one. Feel the power, feel the pride. Feel the drumbeat deep inside. Feel the boom, feel the bass. Let's let go of time and space. It'll make you dance, it'll make you sing. Ode Wegun, Wedok Wishin. The drum will lead you, take you far. Always remember who you are.
Saturdays, it's hockey like you've never seen before.